Education and schoolreformer.com welcomes today's speaker, Ms. Hazi Shah. Today's topic is Art of Learning Math. The duration of the topic is around 20 minutes. During or after the talk, please post your questions in the QA box, which you will see below the video screen. Ms. Speaker, you can start your talk now, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Pravina. Good morning, everyone. As Pravina said, I am Hazi and I am a passionate math educator. Math has been my passion since I was a child. I was like very much into mathematics all the time, learning different ways of understanding mathematics, learning different ways of solving problems, easy ways to understand maths was my passion since I was child. And after that, I became a teacher. And as a teacher, I build up different and make different creative ways to provide proper and easy understanding of maths without much struggle. So usually people, I have heard so many times people saying my son or my child or my daughter is like feeling difficulty in understanding math. Usually children will also say it's really tough, I can't understand the formula, I can't understand the concept, it's really tough. So only because of that feeling they don't put their total effort in understanding. But as a math educator and as a person who always loved math, I personally believe math is everywhere, everywhere. Only thing is we need to search for it. We need to look for the option available for us how we can find math. So what actually people will say, our children will understand whenever you ask what is math, children will say it's about numbers. The one simple thing that comes to their mind, mathematics means numbers. They simply say mathematics is all about numbers. You have to add, subtract, you have to do a lot of things with numbers. But math is much more than that. Math is much more than that. It is the building block of all our daily lives. It is the building block of all our daily lives. I personally feel that. And it is also the building block of our daily lives. We use math everywhere. From morning getting up, whenever we get up, we first look at the time and it is a representative of number. Whenever we wake up, we first look at time, 7 a.m. or 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. depending on the time. It's a number. Our mobiles nowadays, softwares, everything is related to maths. How it has become possible? Few years back, so many scientists and so many philosophers, they really wanted to understand, like, math was discovered or invented by humans. They really wanted to know whether maths was like simply discovered sort of thing, or is it like created in invented by humans. When they did a lot of research, they came to know that our universe is all about math. Even before the existence of human life, all the universe which was created, it was basically on mathematics. So and they were astonished to understand that we have simply understood and discovered very little things of math, very little things of math. When we look at like universe, the placement of planets, the distance between planets, number of planets, distance with the sun, everything is related to a particular distance, and depending on that the life has existed. And coming to more about universe, we have seen in nature the spirals, honeybees, and everything. Honeybees which we get, it has a structure of hexagon. So natural spirals and water forming spirals, everything are related to maths. When they did a research, they came to know that we have discovered very few things about math and there are yet to be discovered. And the major thing they have understood is nature is all about mathematics. It is just the logic, just which we are understanding and presenting it as a class or as a subject. But it was basically mathematics. And usually we can see mathematics in architecture. We can see mathematics in whatever the like pyramids are there in Egypt. they are also built of mathematics. We can see mathematics everywhere. So first thing what we should inculcate in our child is what exactly is math. I would like to say math is nothing but the logic which we need to understand, which we need to understand. It's that is nothing more than that. Everything has been prepared, everything has been kept. We only need to understand, or only we need to learn. So math is everywhere. As I said, it's it's purely magical thing. It's purely like simply looking into how magical math has made everything in the universe. And next thing is, whenever we go and tell to our kid, or simply go or do rote learning, yeah, this is the problem, or this is the fraction, simply add it or subtract, which is 1/4 or 1/2. No, that is really not the way to tell a kid. You can show it in a different way. Whenever we go outside, we give pizzas to our kids. Usually it is kids favorite. So kid is what, kid will understand fraction through it. I do it with my kids usually. I Whenever I go out, or whenever any kid is not understanding any concept, I simply relate it to real life. So with primary kids, fractions is one of the easiest and the difficult part as well. So whenever you go out, you have a pizza, you can show it to them. When whole pizza is there, it is one whole part, and when it is been divided, it's been divided into equal parts. So that is the best example how we can inculcate learning math easily in our kids. Whenever we go for watching cricket, we usually, as Indians, we love cricket, and we watch cricket whenever we have time, or whenever any match is scheduled, we sit and we watch. In that, we can show different kind of things to the kids. The first is the angle, with which the bowler balls, and the angle with which the batter hits the ball. Usually nowadays they are showing in the cricket match as well the distance. I can show it here. Yeah, nowadays it's been shown clearly when they are showing the graphs of how many sixes or how many fours a player has hit. They are clearly showing how much distance the bowler has hit the ball, how much distance it has left, and what an angle, and on which side. So by looking at this picture, we can clearly say, when we are watching, we can make our kid understand the batter has hit at a certain angle, that it has crossed a certain distance. And usually when bowler hits at a high angle upwards, the bowler, the fielder, it will be easy for the fielder to catch, because the angle which he hit is straight angle. Usually straight angle is not supported. Straight angles are not supported. So that is why when a bowler hits upside unexpectedly, it is definitely possible for a fielder to catch it. And when a bowler hits, when a batter hits the ball certain angle which is less than 90 degrees, it is definite that it may reach outside the field. Unexpected cases a fielder may catch, but mostly when they hit at an angle less than 90 degrees, the bowler will go out of the field or outside the circular field. And the same way we usually go for visiting places or different places, we go for journeys. Whenever we go outside, in the same way we can show patterns, we can show geometry, we can show topics related to math in the kids. Usually when we go for journey or when we go for visiting places, one of the best example I have taken here is Qutub Minar. So Qutub Minar uh, is an historical thing. Okay, in this thing, the main it was built somewhere in 14th century for to commemorate the win over Delhi. So this Qutub Minar, it has been developed, it has been created in such a way that the circles which we can see in between, they are on a decreasing pattern. They are on a decreasing pattern, and the base is much broader. The diameter of the base is much broader, and slowly the diameter in between the circles is been kept in a decreasing way. That way it can stand properly, and it will not be fallen easily with the obstacles or with the environmental calamities. So the maths here used is circles, diameter related to circles, and the length between each of the floors. As we can see, there are 5 floors, and each floor the distance has been reduced. The height has been reduced. The height has been reduced in such a way that it does not affect the topmost floor. I personally feel that for smaller kids or for younger kids, we can teach math while we are talking with them, when we are spending time with them. Usually, when children will come from the school, they usually come and talk with us. So those simple things will be etched in their mind in such a way that they will relate it to while they are learning, and it will make them easy to understand the concept. So whenever they come, so we can ask them to look at the time. Time is also a part of mathematics. It has all different thing in mathematics. We can ask them to look at time. We can ask them to look at the angle which the hands are making in a simple or jolly way that we can ask them. It will be helpful. And whenever we are eating, whenever we are like going out, we can show different things. Usually whenever I go out on a journey, I show them the ticket as well, and I ask them what is the distance between this place to other place, so that they can remember it in a proper way. What will be the exact distance, what is the fare, and which thing is related to what. In usually in a ticket we have distance from this station, from the destination, from the beginning station to the last station to the destination, what distance it is, what thing it is measured in. It is measured in kilometers or meters. And I show them fare, and I ask them to tell how much rupees it has taken, what is the exact way to calculate if we go a little bit far. So these are the all simple and funny things. It will not take more than 2 minutes of your time and kids time as well, and they will not even feel bored of it. It will be like learning the new things when we are doing certain new things with the kids. I usually go with that. And we when some kids are more of interested in sports, nowadays every kid has like put their stand to have a sport. Every day they go for sports, they go for running, they go for playing tennis or cricket, whatever it is. Whenever we go for playing with them, we can keep we can keep an alarm sort of thing while we are going, how much distance we have walked or how much time we have taken. And one more interesting thing recently came is like finding out Pythagoras theorem while playing a tennis. This question has been posed by one of the kid who was learning Pythagoras theorem, and it became so viral that the professor has created a total Pythagoras theorem in the tennis court, and which was like it's been a hit and it's been so popular. So usually when they play tennis, when they hit, so it shows different angle when it hits, and when it bounces back. Your children can learn what is the angle which it has hit and what angle it can go. And this usually helps them to understand when they are playing the proper logic behind how to hit the ball and at what angle with what force they can hit. And this thing was the Pythagoras theorem which I was talking about. It's like that player hitting the ball at a certain height. Here it is 3 meters, and here is the distance from place is standing from baseball, from baseline to service line, and this is the distance which is hitting the service line. So usually this way we understand Pythagoras theorem, where base square and height square is equals to hypotenuse square. When it has been like became it was so viral, and children were so eager to understand what exactly happens uh, when a person hits the ball in the court line with this speed. So here it is clearly shown the distance between the baseline and the service line is 18.29 meters, and the height of the person is 3 meters. When we calculate it, we get 343.5 meters, which is the hypotenuse, which is the exact distance from from the player to the service line with which the ball hits. And this 0.25 seconds is the time which it usually takes to bounce back. 0.25 seconds is the very nano time which it usually takes to bounce back. Through this Pythagoras theorem, they calculate with what speed it's hitting and in what time it will hit and at what time it will bounce back. So its only thing is that mathematics is not the toughest thing. Mathematics can be understood and learned in a very easy way, in a very pure way. And it only thing we have to do is whenever we are learning any sort of thing or making our kids to learn, we need to search out for examples wherein we can show them and they can understand. Mathematics is not about formulas. Mathematics is not about understanding the numbers. Mathematics is only about learning, which has been invented so long back. Only thing is we need to put our a little bit of sense and understand how we can relate it to real life, and we can show it to our kids in a easy way. And mostly one of the thing which I hear as a teacher from many parents, they say that my kid is finding difficult in by hearting the formula or understanding the formula. For every formula which has been in mathematics, which has been created, it's so logical that you have to understand what is the base of the formula. It's just so logical. What is exactly the base? Usually, we always come with algebraic expressions. Children will say, "Madam, it is so difficult to find the roots of the equation." But the baseline for that, the formula is created for algebraic expression is such a way that we find the different coefficients of the equation and we put it in such a way that we find it in easy way to understand the logic behind how equation can be solved, how to put the numbers which fit in the equation through the trial and error method. And one more thing, I would definitely like to say that there are so many methods with which mathematics has been taught, like lecture method, demonstrative method, adaptive method, analytic method, and project method, project based method. But more than that, as parents, we can definitely show the easiest ways to them when we are spending time with them to understand math. And this will inculcate the curiosity, the anxiety for the kids to create and understand the logic behind what is being used to understand math. Whenever we go for lecture method in maths, it's like simply speaking and speaking and speaking, and child is unable to relate it to anything. And when we go for demonstration method, we are simply showing them, we are demonstrating like what is related to what. Just now as I have shown this Pythagoras theorem, how is it related in how to find the bounce back time. It's just like demonstrating and showing. They are not going to relate it and they are not going to understand it. When we go with the analytic method of teaching maths, it's like separating different parts and simply teaching it. But when we sit along with the kids and relate it to real life examples, showing them the things which we see around us, it definitely builds the curiosity and anxiety to understand the subject, and they will think about how to go ahead with that, which I have been following since my childhood, and I take steps to relate it to maths. Even if I'm walking, I see around the structures and show the shapes to my kids. Even I observe the different shapes and how is it been developed. That curiosity will only make the kids to understand the subject, and that curiosity is the only way they can learn math. According to so many theories, and blog, I am unable to spell his name, but it's like blog blog skies theory. All these problem solving methods are there, but it will definitely help the children with much higher IQ. The children with little bit of less IQ are, I say the children have all the abilities. I personally believe children have all the abilities to understand. Only thing is, instead of going for rote learning or methods of teaching mathematics, we can easily show things around us, relating it to math in a different way, and that will develop them the curiosity to understand the subject. Curiosity to understand the subject, and then they will put their whole effort to understand it. And whenever we go through the journeys, or whenever we go through, whenever we go around for a walk or with the kids, whenever we spend time, we see so many things. Suddenly, yesterday, what happened is, when we were walking, we have seen butterflies coming. We have seen so many butterflies suddenly, and my child was able to understand the different color patterns the butterflies had. The first thing she reflected was, Mama, I can see different color patterns in these butterflies, and I can see the color variations in these butterflies. And I was like astonished, because from last 1 month we were discussing on variations and patterns. The first thing she said was, I can see different color variations in these butterfly, and they are like pattern oriented. So this way, parents can sit along with the kids whenever they are spending time. They can show them the different things available to them in a different shapes, that will help the children to understand the subject and build in the curiosity. And nowadays, in each and every school, they are focusing on 21st century skills, communication, collaboration, problem solving, creativity, social entrepreneur. There are so many things they are focusing on these days. But these skills will be developed only when we relate and create the curiosity for the children to understand. I personally feel, more than all those theories and other things, showing the real life examples, showing the patterns in real life examples, showing the circumstances related to real life examples, are much better and easier way for the kids to understand the subject and develop those creative skills and communication skills, become social entrepreneurs, create their own things. That curiosity will be easy, and it will build a different sort of uh, will build a different sort of like persona in them, wherein they create so many things. I basically feel that art of learning math is nothing but relating it to real life and understanding how we can relate math and just simply discovering it. I personally feel math is like a very basic concept the universe is developed. Only thing what we are doing is, we are simply discovering the parts and understanding how subject is related and what we can develop through that, or what we can understand through that. So these all skills, art of learning math is nothing but simply relating things to the real life and understanding how we can create more thing or different things with that.
Thank you, Miss Hazi. It's a very interesting session. I wish I had a teacher who taught us math with only the demonstrative method. I love the way you explained the Pythagoras theorem and how the cricket is played, like the bowler and the relationship between the bowler and the batsman, how he hits and how he bowls. And you taught us tennis too. It's very interesting. So we have some questions lined up here, Miss Hazi. Most of them are answered by you already. But again, I'll go through the questions one by one if you're ready.
Yeah,
Can
give me
you
just
can you
1 minute,
please
Pravina.
yeah, can you please close
I'll
your
just
PPT and expand your camera, please? Are you able to do that?
sorry for the disturbance. I'm really sorry for this.
No issues, no issues.
Yeah.
So just close your presentation.
Presentation, I'll just close it.
Yes, perfect. So the first question is, where is the art in maths?
Yeah, maths and art both are related from the beginning. Can you see spiders? Can you see flowers? Can you see and you can see a few more things. The honeycombs which we have, they are all hexagonal. That is the basic thing. And we can see some clouds as well. They are basically made of like different patterns and different structures.
Yes, you
Usually,
just gave the example of the butterflies to the patterns
yeah,
and variations.
yeah. Art is so much related to math, and the architecture which we have seen in our lives. Maybe as I said, Qutub Minar or Char Minar in India, we have. There is so much of art built in it, which is related to maths as well.
Right. So, what's a message you have for anyone pursuing math?
As I said, if anyone who is willing to pursue their career in maths, who want to take maths ahead, I think that instead of sitting and learning by hearting formulas or simply doing things wherein they can sit, and so usually I have seen kids, they sit and try to solve so many problems because they have learned that teachers will say the more and more practice will develop you understanding of math. But I personally believe instead of sitting and practicing, researching more on topics will give you more knowledge in maths. And that's a total different thing. When you develop that thing, you become like something who is very profound in mathematics. And if you take a career in mathematics, definitely in the coming years, data science, which is totally on mathematics, data science is going to be a boom. And the person who is very much perfect in mathematics will definitely have a good future.
Okay. So, why is math phobia so prevalent, and what can we do as mathematicians to fix it?
Math, as a person, I'm not a mathematician to say. I'm just a math educator, and I feel always connected to math. So as I said, only looking out for math when we spend our time is the only thing which is going to remove that phobia from the kids, that it is difficult or it's tough to understand. Even kids who feel it's very difficult or who doesn't understand, they start exploring the things and they start explore math in them.
Okay. So, is studying maths in undergraduate course different from studying maths at school? What's your opinion?
Yeah, it's definitely different. When you grow, the subject grows, and the relation to it is also different. It's really totally different what we are learning in our school and what we are learning in our graduation or post graduation. That is totally different. What we are learning in here is simply mathematics. When we go for graduation and post graduation, we are learning applied mathematics. That is like how to apply mathematics and concepts of mathematics in our real life. That is
Okay.
what we are going to learn in graduation and post graduation, who take maths as main subject.
Right. So, what's the earliest memory of yours being excited by mathematics?
My earliest memory being excited by mathematics was fractions. My teacher explained fractions. It was in sixth grade, and I was unable to understand. So somehow, what happened was that day my father is a mechanical engineer, and he used to place different coaches. He works in railways. He used to place coaches in a proper way. He when he was doing that time when we went to his workshop, he shown me how proportionate and how equal the coaches were placed. I mean, say birds were placed. So he said me that this is like one third, half, and two-third, and this way it is being placed so that every person can sit, and these are all proportional. So that when I went and told to my teacher next day, she was like, it's really good relation. When I was learning math, it was simply explaining on board and living. So from that time I started exploring things and seeing where maths is related. It that built a sort of curiosity in me. From that time I never stopped. I always used to look, how can I relate math, how can I relate math. These days which they are showing the sixes in maths and matches and distance, I used to relate it when I was in my 10th. But at that time we don't have those softwares and to express those relations. But I used to look in that way whenever I used to watch the match. I really used to look with what force he is hitting the bat, with what angle he is hitting the ball, which make sure that he is not out. So that one incident with my father when he was working and when we went to his workshop has created a curiosity to understand how I can look forward and how I can and how I can relate maths, which makes me easy to understand. The only thing was I wanted to understand in such a way that it should be easier for me.
That's very nice to know. Your father is your inspiration, or he made that the interest in you. So, if a child is struggling in maths, what are some common reasons you have observed?
Common things I have observed is it's been not explained in a proper way. Usually, I have seen even my co-teachers, not to blame, but whenever we sit and discuss and proper structure a lesson plan, the first thing usually teachers run for completion of syllabus, but I don't run for completion of syllabus. I simply said do a proper explanation in the sense do an activity related to real life. Supposingly, I would like to give an example here. We are discussing volume. Supposingly, volume is a chapter in mathematics which comes under measurements. Supposingly, we are going to discuss volume. So first thing anybody will say is 1 liter is 1000 ml, and this is the calculation. You have to convert it to liters to milliliters or milliliters to liters. But rather than that, we can ask children, where do you find volume in our home? There is one parachute oil bottle. We can show it to them and see. Can you see here written 900 ml or 500 ml? So what is that representing? That is representing the volume which this bottle can hold, 500 ml of oil. We can show our perfumes. In that also it is written 200 ml or 150 ml, some sort of thing. So then they will understand the concept that volume is related to this thing, and it's not simply converting liters to milliliters. And then we can do our normal mathematics class wherein 1 liter is equals to 1000 ml, and then becomes it's like a game sort of children to play. And best example is nowadays children will also go for swimming. The best example is when they go for swimming, we can ask them, can you calculate the volume of this swimming pool? So that builds the curiosity in them to understand how we can share. And the major drawback when kids feel it's difficult to understand is only because of they don't have the proper understanding of the exact concept. A smaller thing like this will develop a deeper understanding of the concept.
Absolutely. I agree with you. So, what made you take an interest in maths and also opt for teaching maths at school?
Yeah, actually, basically, I was in software engineer. When I was finishing my graduation, I was selected as a software engineer. After working for 2 years, I realized that sitting here and relating maths was not possible for me. It was good because I was good in maths. It was good for me. But then I thought uh, I should take up teaching and I should provide methods or whatever I have learned. I have the curiosity how to relate it and make it easier for the kids. That will be more helpful and that will give me that satisfaction, that happiness, because I'm more bound to it. That was the main reason I took up teaching.
Right. You should
I wanted to
be
design
happy
some,
with your
yeah, I
work.
wanted,
Right.
yeah.
Right. So, according to you, what is the toughest thing about teaching maths, Miss Hazi?
Toughest thing is like I have never faced. I face toughest thing when I simply go for rote learning. But the easiest thing is always been maths. Simply teaching it, relating it to real life, and then I just relate it to things and then leave it on children. They by themselves finish the work. It has been the easiest thing. Toughest thing I hardly faced.
Okay. So, this is a question from my side. So, when you say rote learning, yeah, will it be connected to algebra? The form.
No.
So, can you teach it in a demonstrative method?
Yeah. Yeah, I can definitely teach that. See, whenever you go in the morning, first thing we ask for the kids is to get a milk packet. Yeah, the first thing we ask them to get a milk packet, and suppose you have given 50 rupees, and supposingly the price of milk packet is 24 rupees. Suppose So kit can bring that 50 rupees can be demonstrated as 24 into 2 milk packets plus 2 rupees. 24 here is the price of the milk packet. That X is the variable, how many milk packets is going to take, and plus 2 is the remaining amount. 24x plus 2 is equals to 50. Then how will you find out the value of X? Number of variables, number of milk packets, that is 2.
Okay, nice to know. So what techniques do you use to engage reluctant students?
I simply sit with them and I ask them to create different numbers, different things with their own numbers. I simply sit with them and I just have a talk with them for 1 or 2 minutes, and I ask them to create their own questions, which they feel easy for them. Which is easier for them, they do it in a simple way, and when they feel it little bit more easy, they come to my way of learning or my way of doing. So first thing I usually do is like sit with them, talk with them, ask them to do whatever they want to do, spend 5 to 10 minutes, and then I ask them to come up with their things which is relating to our session, and then my work is done.
Okay. So do you see any areas of improvement, any areas for improvement in school maths curriculum?
Yeah, if we follow the new curriculum which has been designed by National Education Policy, there are so many things related to what I have said now. They have asked us to more on showing a proper relation, and then they can be learned. They have asked more for experiential learning rather than rote learning, in even in maths also. So if we follow national curriculum properly, national education policy properly, and we put in little bit effort for making the subject easy, the whole work is done by kids, not by us. Only thing is we need to relate it. They have kept clearly in national education policy, mathematics also should be taught in an experiential way.
Okay. So we have crossed the time, but I would like to cover all the questions. Okay, we will, I will quickly ask the other questions too. What can school administration do to build a good maths department?
Yeah, for building a proper maths department, we can have a proper mathematics head who has this proper understanding of how to relate subjects. Then for every week, the whole math department can sit and discuss with each other what are the chapters they are going to take, and what are the loopholes. First of all, let them plan the proper structure this for whole week, what they are planning to do and how they are going to do. When they sit and discuss as a team, so many things will come up, and different ideas will come up. Supposingly, as I said, whenever I teach volume, I show all this kind of things which are available at home, right? This was my idea. So when we were doing this, when we do these sort of discussions, different ideas will pop up, and that will benefit our session, that will upgrade our math, that will upgrade our subject, and inbuilt it will by default it will upgrade our school, our children, and everybody. So properly, I used to wantedly go and discuss with other teachers, but I am doing it like this, how can we do upgrade it more, or how can we make it better. So these sort of meetings and discussion with each other will help each other and make a subject better.
Okay. So as a maths teacher, how do you define success?
Define success. I think for me, success is when I feel happy. It's not like a major success. I feel a success when I help kids to understand math. I believe on small those successes, and I feel happy. That the small thing which makes me happy, that is the success for me. When each of my kid understands the way I teach them, and they feel happy, and they relate it to things, and they say that, yeah ma'am, we have understood, it's very easy, that is the success for me.
Okay. So I would like to skip a couple of questions because we have crossed the time 10 minutes more. So the last question is, what advice do you have for a fresh maths teacher starting her career? Ms.
I
Hazi,
would
can you hear me?
definitely, yeah, I can hear you. Those who are starting as fresh mathematics teacher, I would definitely say, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Hello?
yeah, I
Yeah,
can hear you.
yeah, those who are starting as fresh mathematics teacher, I would definitely say one thing: instead of simply going and starting on board, plan out a week ahead what can be done to make it easy for understanding of the kids. Believe me, it works like a magic. Plan a week ahead what can be done, what we are going to teach, what are the different examples you are going to show, and then simply teach the formula relating to subject, and then your work is done. Everything will be done by kids itself. We don't need to write on board so many problems telling everything. Only thing we have to do is make them understand the concept, and every else part is done by them, and that gives us so much strength and so much happiness, and inbuilt we will also try for learning new things.
Thank you, Ms. Hazi. School Journal of Education and schoolreformer.com, thank you for the talk and for patiently answering all the questions. We also thank the audience for participating in the event. We will end the session now. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you Pravina, thank you for giving me this opportunity to share my experiences. I hope some way or the other possible, if it is helping any parent, any child, then this session is like successful for me. I hope for the growth and the success of each and everyone, and school reformer stage as well.
Yes, I hope
Thank you so much.
it will definitely happen. Thank you.
Thank you.